The logo's blue. The hosts are sexy. We're the dudes with the pics that drive the girls wild. It's hidden gems football, hidden gem football.
All right, you caught me with that one. I don't even know where to go with there.
Come on. Do I sound like I'm joking? Do I sound like I'm playing? When you look into my eyes, you understand what I'm saying? Let me say it to you slowly, and it may sound scandalous. I don't think that you can handle this.
Once again, we are on. I am the Mojo King. He is the great Mike Steph, and we are Hidden Gems Football, brought to you by the mighty 19 Media Group. Welcome to the preview of week number 14 of the NFL season. We're heading down the final stretch. But before we start, I'd like to thank you, yes, you. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite listening platform, thank you for being here with us. We survive, we thrive because of you. Please like, subscribe, comment, and most definitely tell a friend or two, as long as you're not a leak or a snitch. Anyway, Mike Steph, how are you today?
I'm doing okay. It's been a very, very trying couple days as a New York Jets fan, but see, that's why I don't have no jet paraphernalia on because I'm actually in the witness protection program. I am not trying to be claimed as a Jet fan. My bronchitis is still a little bit there. I got the throat comfort tea, pause. So I'm doing okay. But this week, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little heartbreaking, hence the heartbreak head.
I don't know. That
You
might have
just
been
go
your one
on.
big thing. That might have been your one big thing, but do you have another big thing for us?
Well, family friendly show. My one big thing this week, besides talking about myself, is the New York Jets and their debacle of what's going on in Florham Park in MetLife Stadium. I actually wrote some stuff down just to keep me on task. And normally, this one big thing is usually just a free flowing thing, stream of consciousness and all that other good stuff. But there's so much trash. There's so much horse manure that I have to sort through. I need some type of guidance. But I'm going to entitle this, Tell Me When I'm Telling Lies. Tim Boyle was released yesterday after starting one game and 3/4 of another game. Why now? Why have Boyle on the roster to begin with if you're going to cut him before the season is over? We'll get to that in a minute. Why wait so long to pull the trigger on getting a better alternative if Boyle was so trash that he had to be benched after such little playing time? And not only benched, but outright released. Was he the leak? And the leak I'm talking about is this. There was a report, like I said, there was a report the other day that Zach Wilson did not want to get back into the starting lineup due to injury. This report was by Diana Rossini of The Athletic. It was also seconded by Zach Rosenblatt of The Athletic also. And soon after, there was a press conference, which I'll get to in a minute. Now, was Tim Boyle the leak? Aaron Rodgers was dismayed on the info being leaked to reporters in general. Would Tim Boyle still be here if Diana Rossini had not come out with that initial report? Robert Saleh had to do damage control on Monday by saying Zach came to him and wanted the ball. Was this because of the report? Doesn't Robert Saleh have more to worry about since his friend, WFAM legend Joe Marengo is on air discussing their private text exchange? And then to make matters worse, he totally misinterpreted the meaning of one of them, making it seem like Robert Saleh didn't like Zach as a person, didn't like Zach as an entity, didn't like Zach as a human being. All that did was exacerbate the problem that started the day before. Like, what is going on? This is the effing clown show. Clown show, I tell you. Aaron Rodgers called this whole scenario a bunch of chicken bleep. See, I know how to censor myself. And tell you the truth, he was right, because he was right in saying that winning organizations don't have these problems. Winning organizations don't have leaks coming from the roster, coming from the organization, assassinating the character of a poor player, but nevertheless your best option with 5 games to go into the season. Now, do you believe that on somebody's going to be made the sacrificial lamb, not named Zach Wilson? Because just the debacle with Robert Saleh in the WFAM host is probably enough to get him fired. Tell you the truth. On top of the fact of last 18 games, the Jets are 4-14. You're going through another slide, like you lost your last 6 games last year, and now you're on a 5-game losing streak with no wins to come. If this latest debacle isn't grounds on getting everyone the hell up out of there, I don't know what is. It's a dereliction of duty. Incompetent at best. A lot of teams have lost their quarterbacks and had legit options behind them. We saw the latest one in Cincinnati this past week with Jake Browning. But regardless, either in-house or through trade or even up the scrap heap, they had better options than we'd had after week 1. The Cleveland Browns brought Joe Flacco off the bench. Matter of fact, off the couch. And he almost led them to an improbable victory in La La Land. Frustration isn't enough of a word to describe my feelings. Now, after that long soliloquy that I just said, tell me, am I telling lies? I don't think so. Mo, it's on to you.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement podcast. I am Brad Winchester.
And I am Tyler McDowell Blanken. Join us every week on GI, where we talk about what happened in pop culture, our lives, and most importantly, professional wrestling.
All right, let's move on to Thursday night football. The 2-10 New England Patriots are heading to Pittsburgh to face the 7-5 Steelers. The Steelers are 5.5-point favorites, and this total is now at 29.5 points. That means Vegas is saying that the Patriots will score 12 and the Steelers will win decidedly with 17.5. As far as injuries on the Patriots side, the big one is Ramondre Stevenson. He has a high ankle sprain and he is expected to miss a couple of weeks, which means Zeke Elliott will be the lead back. All of their starting wide receivers are listed as questionable. Devontae Parker, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Demario Douglas are all on the report. Demario Douglas has a concussion, but I think the other two are pretty set to play. I think New England's just playing games with the reports.
Are they questionable due to their health, or are they questionable due to their skill?
Question, I am going to leave it alone. All right, on Pittsburgh side, there also is a major injury. Kenny Pickett is out with a high ankle sprain himself. He had ankle surgery. He's expected to be back in maybe 2 or 3 weeks, which is pretty amazing considering he had surgery. But that means Mitch Trubisky is running the offense right now. Najee Harris is out with a knee injury. He's questionable for this week. All right, Mike Steph, this game, according to Vegas, is going to be pretty terrible as far as offense. What do you think about it?
I know one thing I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about definitely not watching this game. Like, I don't even know where to start. Because I'm looking at this, I'm looking at the scroll. That's the first time, I ain't gonna lie. That's the first time I saw the over-under be under 30. 29.5 points. But it actually coincides with the stats that I actually got on tap. Do you know that the New England Patriots are giving up 11.5 points in their last 4 games? But they're 2-10. So you're like, hold on. They're giving up 11.5 points, and yet they're like on a 4 or 5 game losing streak or something like that, maybe even longer. Guess what? not only they're giving up 11.5 points, they're only scoring 7.5 points in that same span. So even though they're giving up 11.5 points, they're still losing by average of 4 points a game. Ain't that some? Now, conversely, the Steelers are averaging 16 points per game for the season. But they got Mitch Trubisky, who is trash, garbage. Like he's so bad, he's worse than the gum that's stuck underneath your shoe. So I believe, and maybe because I was in my own little world, but I believe Bailey Zappi is going to be the starter this week. But tell you the truth, if Bailey Zappi or Mac Jones, does it really make a difference? Does it really make a difference? Like, I don't think so. So I'm gonna give this game the least amount of time possible. So let me get to these picks. That over under, guess what? I'm going under. Steelers 5.5. I don't think they could blow anybody out. And yeah, I know 5.5 is usually not a blowout, but when it comes to these two teams, 5.5 victory is a blowout. So I think, but then you know what? New England lost by 6 last week to score 6-zip. They lost by 3 the week before by a score of 10-7. So it isn't inconceivable that they lose 7-0 and Pittsburgh wins. There isn't inconceivable that Pittsburgh kicks 2 field goals and they cover. So, and I think Bill Belichick is just like, you know what? I'm running out the string. I really don't care. They listen, pension plan is paid. So Pittsburgh to cover. And that over under, I'm going under. It's setting up for Bill Belichick to ride into the sunset at 3 he'll be 4-13, and he'll get his 4th and final win against my New York Jets in Foxborough. I take it to the bank.
New England just hasn't been scoring 0, 7, 6 points last 3 games. Pittsburgh, though, hasn't looked much better. They had the win against Cincinnati, Browning's first start, which, maybe they held down the giant. But last week, they got smacked by Arizona. Granted, it was in the rain. But they also lost 3 weeks ago to Cleveland when Thomas Robinson was at the helm. Pittsburgh is not a shining star here. And they just lost their starting quarterback. This game's a train wreck, and I'm not excited to see it. New England shouldn't score, so Pittsburgh should win, and they should win by more than 5.5 because they should score. The question is that 29.5 points. That's insanely low. Insanely low.
It's possible.
It's very possible. Like I said, the score looking at 12-17.5, that could easily be the final score, 12-17, which would be right under it.
Listen, in New England's last 4 games, the over-under has been below 20.
Yeah.
Average-wise. Right. So
right. The thing I'm worried about here, though, is that I think Trubisky will take some risks, and if they pay off, Pittsburgh should score, and if they don't pay off, New England's defense might score.
Gotcha.
And that's what makes me nervous about that 29.5. If you force me to say it, I think I still go under with you, but I would not bet that because that just makes me nervous. I think it's too easy. That's one of those things that you could see blow up at halftime, and you're like, you just set your money on fire.
Are you ready to step up your style without compromising the planet? Introducing the exciting partnership between BlueView Footwear and the 19 Media Group Network. Just visit bit.ly/BlueView19 to start your sustainable style journey. Our friends over at BlueView Footwear are renowned for introducing the world's first fully biodegradable sneaker. By using plant-based plastics, they are leading a revolution in cleaner materials and manufacturing. They have sleek and contemporary styles that cater to a wide range of tastes. BlueView Footwear believes that fashion and sustainability can coexist harmoniously. Explore their incredible collection of eco-friendly footwear by visiting bit.ly/BlueView19. If you let us know you made a purchase, we'll shout you out on our next show. Again, just visit bit.ly/BlueView19 today, and you'll see the ultimate collaboration of fashion, sustainability, and media excellence.
All right, let's move from the slums of Pittsburgh to the heights of Kansas City. We have the 6-6 Buffalo Bills. They are going to face the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 8-4. The Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites. The total is expected to be 47.5 points, which puts the Vegas scores at Buffalo at 22.5 and the Kansas City Chiefs at 25. As far as health concerns, Buffalo, I believe, had a bye last week. They're pretty healthy from the week before. Meanwhile, Kansas City has 3 recent injuries to report. Offensive lineman Donovan Smith is questionable with the ankle. Linebacker Drew Tranquil has a concussion and is in concussion protocol. And meanwhile, safety Brian Cook has an ankle sprain. It looked pretty bad, and I think he's unlikely to play this week. Mike Steph, these teams are becoming less and less predictable, it seems like. What's your prediction?
Well, I'll give you my prediction straight up right now. Chiefs are going to win. Chiefs are going to cover. And that over-under, I don't know, for some reason I'm leaning under because the Chiefs, for all the talk of the dynamic offense, they do struggle to score, at least in the second half of games. They'll come out, roaring in the first half, and the second half, it's like, if they got the lead, it's almost like they're trying to hang on. The same old narrative. Their wide receivers are very inconsistent. They did get kind of screwed last week to a certain degree with a call that should have been called, but I believe I call that karma. The Bills are coming out their bye week, looking at the daunting schedule ahead of them, in the fact that 3 of their last 5 games, 3 of their final 5 games are against teams currently in playoff position. They've lost 3 of the last 4 games, with that one win coming against my rapidly falling apart NYJ of MetLife Stadium. Yeah, I'm not even saying their name anymore. That's how disgusting I am. Another close loss was against the Philadelphia Eagles in overtime. They actually led by double digits as late as with under 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter, and yet they coughed that game up in overtime. Now, KC is coming off a surprising loss against the Green Bay Packers this past Sunday in Lambeau against those surprisingly resurgent Green Bay Packers. Some could say that the refs, as I just said, had a say in matters, but to me, it was another subpar game for the offense, and they have lost 3 of their last 5 games. And in that same span, they failed to cover the spread, the same amount, 3 of the last 5 games. So, like I said, and to reiterate what I said at the very beginning of my spiel, Kansas City for the win, Kansas City to cover with that 2.5, and that over-under, I'm going under because why not?
I think I said a couple weeks ago, I hate predicting Bills games. I still do. And the other team I really hate predicting is the Chiefs. So now you have them together. 2 hated predictions. I really have no idea where this could go. This could go a million different directions. Kansas City should play better. Buffalo can beat anybody. Buffalo can lose to anybody. And neither one of these teams have looked particularly sharp lately. This is a game I will never bet, ever. I'll sit down and watch it. I don't even think I'm going to play fantasy with it. I'm just going to watch. But I'll say this. If I take the names out and just forget that it's the Bills and the Chiefs, and I look at it, it looks kind of straightforward what should happen. It should be a close game, and Kansas City should win. So I will take Kansas City with the 2.5. That 47.5 seems really tight. It was really right on it. I think I'll go over just because of the potential of the offenses. But like I said, this is not a game I would bet at all, and I wouldn't even want to predict it, honestly.
Is Taylor Swift going to be in attendance?
Oh my gosh, I do not care.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Ricky from Late Night Lake Show. A new NBA season has arrived, and there's no better time to be following the brand. From weekly podcasts and live streams featuring some of the biggest names in the NBA social world to viral Twitter spaces and engaging articles. If you bleed purple and gold and love good content, the Late Night Lake Show is the brand for you. Follow us on Twitter at Late Night Lakers and on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, or wherever you get your podcast at Late Night Lake Show. It's premium Lakers content brought to you by some of your favorite and best personalities in Laker Nation. It's about to be another crazy season this year, but one thing is for certain. If it's happening and involving our Los Angeles Lakers, Late Night Lake Show is going to be covering. So come check us out. We'll see y'all on the timeline. Peace.
Before we get to the featured game, are there any other games of interest for you, Mike Steph?
I mean, if there is one game, and this probably was more relevant a couple weeks ago until before both teams made their opposite descents or ascents, would have been the Seattle San Francisco game, because as of Thanksgiving night, it was a possibility that was for the division lead, and since then they've gone in two opposite directions. So right now, I mean, does anybody think Seattle's going into San Francisco and beating them? Never mind making it a game, because San Francisco is like favorite, at least the line that I got, like 10.5 points coming out the destruction in Philly. And Broncos visit Chargers this weekend in a game that, if the Chargers lose, they're probably officially out, and the Broncos lose, that might put the nail in their coffin also. So yeah, those are about two games.
Well, as far as Survivor goes, I think you have to go against one of the New York teams. The Texans are going to face the Jets in New York. And then the game that I think I like a little bit better, the Packers are coming to New York to face the Giants on Monday Night Football. I still don't believe in DeVito, but I do believe in Jordan Love. So those are the two games as far as Survivor goes. The one game that I think I am betting, because I'm kind of curious about this, is that the Colts are 1-point favorites over the Bengals in Cincinnati. Did we just see what happened last week? Browning is Wally Pipping Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is going to be a backup next year because Browning is unbelievable. I cannot believe he's a 1-point underdog. This is ridiculous. Go Bengals. Bengals by 10. Look at that. Mike Steph doesn't even want to show himself anymore.
Yeah, because that's blasphemous.
Well, to the surprise of nobody, our game of the week is going to happen in Sunday Night Football. That is the Philadelphia Eagles heading to Dallas to face the Cowboys. The Cowboys are 3.5-point favorites here, and the total is projected to be 52.5 points, which means that the Eagles would score 24.5 and the Cowboys would score 28. As far as injuries, Philadelphia has a couple of major issues. Dallas Goedert is out with a broken arm. He's been trying to push the play, but he seems unlikely to play this week, maybe next week. And then DeAndre Swift left last week's game. They never disclosed why, but he is still questionable. I guess you have to be questionable because we don't know what's wrong with him. On the other side, the Dallas Cowboys came through last week pretty healthy, so they are status quo. Mike Steph, what do you think about this juggernaut game?
I swear, this game is a test of what team I detest more. And yeah, I know people probably like, if they tuned in last week, like, huh, you were just singing the praises of the Philadelphia Eagles last week. After, I mean, sure, are you bipolar? So, actually, but but you went a whole year talking about how Philly is this and how the Eagles and the Eagles fans and all that stuff, and then last week you give them a piece of respect, and now you're back to slandering this week, and there's a reason why. And as for Dallas, I've been consistent. The Dallas Cowboys are frauds. They're underachievers. They're front runners. They still, you know what? Matter of fact, no, it still holds true because Seattle is a 500 team. So they have yet to beat a team over 500. Yeah, but I'll start with the Eagles. The Eagles, they got throttled last week by San Francisco in a revenge matchup, which actually put a pin into my parlay bubble by the score of 42-19. Because I picked the Eagles, right? I had them to cover the spread. That means they didn't even have to win. All they had to do was just make sure they kept it within 2 or 3. But could they do that? No, they couldn't. They had to get blown out by 23 points. The 49ers defense kept Jalen Hurts in the pocket and forced him to beat them with his arm. They also clamped down on the run overall. Now, question is, can Dallas be as disciplined on the defensive end as the 49ers? Will Dak Prescott continue his hot streak? Will they put up another 40-point spot at home on the big stage? That is primetime football. The opportunity for them to tie the Eagles for the lead of the division and by proxy stay in the hunt for home field advantage is at their feet. If they want to be taken seriously, this is a must-win. Time for excuses are over. As for the Eagles, they got their ultimate revenge on me by not only losing, like I said, but by getting blown out and by costing me a payday on my parlay. The first time I give them a little bit of respect and take up for them, this is what happens. Whatever I pick, I want to actually make some bread, pick the opposite. So I'm going to go for the Eagles to not only cover the spread, but to win. So I guess it would be Eagles plus 3.5. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe my karma would change, or maybe it's just my diabolical way of making the Eagles and the Eagles fans suffer the indignity of losing to Dallas. I don't know. But I'm going to go Eagles against the spread. So that's plus 3.5. And that over under, being the fact that Dallas is a juggernaut at home, I'm going to go over. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to go over because they're going to combine for about 40. They're going to combine for about 60 to 70 points. Yeah, I said it. And watch it be a 10-3 battle. So, yeah.
Well, I guess I'm supposed to vote the opposite then. But all right, here's the thing for me. Last week, much like you, I thought it was going to be a tight game. San Francisco was a little bit favorite. I was confused by it, and I went with Philadelphia because I just thought it'd be a close game, and it wasn't. This week is almost instant replay because Dallas is the favorite, but I'm a little confused why, because although Dallas has been winning, they beat Seattle, Washington, Carolina, the Giants,
Juggernauts,
lost to the Eagles, who they're playing, and then had beat the Rams, but that was the week that Stafford got injured. So Dallas is still not proving to me that they'll beat a good team. Now, granted, the Eagles got blown out last week, but they had beat pretty good teams before that. So I am going to go with Philadelphia again, much like last week. They're the underdogs. I think they're going to win outright, but I probably just bet the spread to keep it safe. And as far as the over/under, I'm going to lean under because of how much Dallas has scored lately. I think the total is a little bit higher than it needs to be, and I think the Eagles slow them down just enough to keep it under.
Because if you remember back into that battle they had at Lincoln Field Memorial, the Link, that Dallas was driving for a potential game-winning touchdown until they repeatedly shot themselves in the foot, and they were stopped at the 1-yard line. So maybe, just maybe, Vegas is taking that in account of, well, Dallas had them on the ropes on the road. Dallas is a better team. Dak has been playing better football, almost MVP caliber, and they have been unbeatable at home. Dare I say they've unbeaten at home. So maybe, just maybe, that's why Dallas is favored. But like I said, I agree with you, or should I say you agree with me? We're going with Philly.
All right, Mike Steph, you've been losing your mind this whole time, and I've been unusually calm. So, take us home.
Even though I don't really talk about that entity too much anymore, but yeah, this has kind of been like a little throwback, which is kind of funny because, matter of fact, it's kind of ironic because it's probably about leading up to a year that my life changed for the better in various ways. And this is something I normally don't do, or I actually refrain from doing, but I do want to plug this week's episode of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast. Available on YouTube at the page of Mike Steph and on streaming platforms where podcasts are available this upcoming week. It's going to be a very special episode for yours truly. A lot of questions will be answered to a certain degree. And hopefully you will tune in and enjoy it. And also, I'm just going to put this out there. If you're a music lover, might want to check out a Bandcamp on Sunday. Put my name in a search and see what comes up. I don't know, just perhaps. So with all that being said, this has been another edition of Hidden Gems Football. And Hidden Gems Football, it's been a pop up. Goodbye.
Bye, folks.
This is a 19 Media Group presentation.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shoot.
I'll try.
No,
I
got you. I got you. Shoot, look, what's going on? Look, when you go high, I go low. When you go low, I go high.
That's how you get a personal foul for clipping. All right.
Yeah, that too. I'm the boy, so. I don't know. My daughter was like, "What are you doing?" I don't know. Listen, I'm not gonna lie. My ego's been taking a bruising the last couple of weeks because I'll be rewatching the show sometime, and I'm like, yeah, and then all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, shoot, I thought that was gonna be a nip and tuck battle. Oh, my mistake. Put me on a pedestal of do not listen to this man. When I said, I don't know if I said it earlier. I don't know if it's gonna make the cut. I'm gonna say it right now. When I say the kiss of Steph is a thing, yep, it's a thing. It's a thing. I just put a name on that phrase because that's what it is. When I give somebody a little bit of credit, they crap the bed. When I say somebody is going to underachieve, that's when they have their biggest win of the season. When I say right, it's going to be left. When I say the sky is blue, it's going to be red. The kiss of Steph. I swear, I think that's going to be a new segment on this show. Instead of my one big thing, it's going to be the kiss of Steph. What I got wrong last week. Because at this point in time, I'm throwing everything at the wind. Sure, I don't refilled my deposit way more times this year than I should. I think I'm becoming a degenerate gambler. Because my daughter, she could be attest to this. How many times did your father win? How many times did your father win when you come home on Sunday afternoons? Sunday nights. She put up this. She said 0. 0. Nothing for the youngsters. When I was a young boy, growing up in the ghetto, I became a Jets fan. Became my living hell. The Jets are green and stinky. They're terrible. Why I chose this life for me. They're so terrible. This is my MetLife life. This is my Jet Life life.
You're on one today.
Yes, indeed. I'm Rick James.